All right, welcome and thank you for joining us for another Chamber Talk. I'm here with Director Mendy McAdams, Director of the Fairfield Area Chamber of Commerce, and I'm Jason Strong, Director of the Fairfield Media Center, which honestly, I always get afraid of tagging my name and stuff because my fingerprints are on about everything.
You do. You are everywhere. Everywhere. You and Werner.
Between me and Werner, we pretty much got everything, all the bases is covered.
Absolutely.
So, but now, springtime is right around the corner. I know we kind of have these false springs that kind of kick in here and there, and this winter hasn't been, all that terrible.
Yes, but it was the official Spring Forward weekend. It's coming right up.
This is true. That is tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Dreadful.
So we're recording this here on Friday. So Saturday is that changeover. So by the time you guys see this, hopefully you guys all set your clocks correctly, or if you're like me, you have one clock that never gets changed, and it's it'll be correct here.
It'll be great. Leading into a busy week and lose an hour. It's just perfect.
Right?
Sounds about right.
A little more daylight, a little more of that vitamin D coming our way.
That's right.
So, but now on the Chamber Chatter, which, by the way, if you have not gotten signed up for the Chamber Chatter, go to fairfieldiowa.com. It's super, super simple. You guys have made it so easy on the website. I think it's literally like, two clicks and an email address?
Yep.
So it couldn't be simpler to get connected and stay informed on what's going on. But we've got, or I shouldn't say we've got, you have Donuts with the Director.
You're welcome to come have a donut with me.
Exactly. Well, I don't know if being diabetic would agree with that, but
well, you can come have coffee with me. How's that?
I can still come and enjoy
we
the atmosphere.
We usually have fruit too, so there's that.
Awesome.
Yeah. So Wednesday morning, 8 to 10 is Donut with the Directors, and this is so our members can come in and meet other members. If they have questions, turn in their sponsorships. They can do a checkup where we make sure that they're utilizing all of their chamber benefits. And ask me any question you want. I will give you a great answer, or I'll make it up and you'll think it's right.
When they say 80% of all statistics are made up.
That's right. That's right. I believe it.
Made up on the spot.
So there's donuts and fruit and coffee and hot tea, and it's a great time. We had a really great time the first one that we hosted, so we'll be doing these on a regular basis. And then for those folks who aren't really morning people, we've got a drink with the directors coming up in May.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. We want to meet our members where they're at. So if you're a morning person, great. If you're an afternoon person, just come in the office and see us. If you want to do a checkup outside of that, you just give me a call and I'll come to you and we'll go through, here's what you're currently doing, here's what you can do, here's some other stuff you should do.
But it's just a great platform to be able to come as a chamber member and ask questions.
And it's so informal. It's and there's other people there asking questions too. So, I learned a lot of stuff that was happening in the community that I didn't know. So it was pretty great.
There's always things happening in our community, and so many things that sometimes it's really easy to lose track. All the more important to get plugged into the Chamber of Commerce.
Absolutely.
Now, we also have a legislative forum coming up here next Saturday, which FMC will be there to live stream.
Yes.
And, we welcome everybody to come out and, again, get plugged in, stay informed, know what's going on in your local governments and on the state level. And I think you guys just do a fabulous job setting all that up and putting all that together for the public.
We sure try. Politics brings out the passion in people.
Yes, it does.
And we will be releasing those topics on Monday. We actually go and look at what legislation they're actually working on so that our topics can be relevant to what's happening, not just those hot button issues that get people excited. There's a lot of things happening at the Capitol right now. We did education last time. We'll release those topics on Monday.
Awesome.
So that I can go back and look and see what's getting close. It's almost funnel time. So, pretty soon they won't be making up more legislation. We'll just be stuck with what we got.
Right. Got to complete that process down the chain of command. Now, even going out a little further than that, you have the awards banquet coming up, which takes an immense amount of planning.
Absolutely. So we're in the downward slide. Today, actually, March 7th, is the last day to nominate winners. We always end up with a few late Strickler in. So if you haven't done it, please send me an email and just say, I want to nominate this person. And then on Thursday night,
I might be one of those late people.
On Thursday night, our Citizens of the Year, our past Citizens of the Year, will pick the upcoming Citizens of the Year. So if you have those applications, make sure you get all of those turned in. If you have written a letter of support and you didn't get it to your person, you can email it directly to me. We put a file for each person that as their things come in, and then they pick the winners, and then the following week, my other committee picks the other winners, and then we order awards, and then it's all the fun things. And we can officially announce the theme.
Oh, really?
It's official, and I can actually tell you now. Do you want to know what it is?
Absolutely. I think everybody wants to know
Kentucky
what it is.
Derby!
Kentucky Derby.
Big hats, bright colors. It's going to be great.
Nice.
I have the biggest, floppiest hat.
I know in the past you guys have done some pretty interesting themes. I think I even recorded one time Michael Halley dancing on a desk.
That seems appropriate.
For one of the themes, one of the videos that got showed. So I know the award banquets can be a lot of fun.
But now, if you go, oh my goodness, I do not want to wear a big floppy hat, that's fine. Come in whatever makes you feel comfortable. We just encourage people to have fun with the theme. I mean, I love it. I've bought probably entirely too many hats and dresses to make sure that I'm coordinated. And there are folks who really hate the theme, and there are people who really live for the theme. So whatever camp you're in, just come and celebrate the wonderful things that happened in Fairfield in 2024.
Now, you guys also do a lot of business after hours, and I think this next one coming up here is probably the most infamous.
It is the longest running.
And the longest running.
That's right.
Business after hours, which pertains directly to your guest that we have here today.
Mr. John Morrissey is in the podcast studio.
So you're ready for me?
I'm ready for you. So next Friday, we will all be coming to your basement.
There we go.
And it will be standing room only. And there are
That's
so
it.
many great things. So what do we got going on, John?
Well, starting about mid-afternoon, probably 3:30 and going until 7 to 8, we'll have our Business After Hours St. Patrick's Day party. We're having it in anticipation of St. Pat's this year because actually I have a city council meeting out of town on the 17th. But the 17th is a Monday night, and the 14th, which we picked for the day in anticipation, is likely to generate a bigger crowd just because people that are winding down after the week are more likely to show up than people that are starting the week.
Oh, yeah.
So Friday night, we'll be downstairs over at my office, which is a kitchen area. There's a sit-down area in the kitchen area, but then there's what we call the Patty's room. I'll tell you about that. And then there is a large conference room and a restroom down there. And the conference room has a 5 by 10 table in it, which we set with all kinds of trays of cheese, meat, other kinds of things you could do a sandwich with, plus all kinds of munchies and hors d'oeuvres. And we put out 2 tureens that we keep filled as much as we can. The night before, I personally cook. You can believe that if you want to or not. Ask my wife about it. Because
I've heard good
some
things.
of it is all me, but anyway, we slow cook it. Starting the night before, and we make 20 quarts of lamb stew. And that goes into the tureens, and we've never had any left over in the last 30-some years.
Well,
It's so good.
I was going to say, that probably says that you guys are doing a pretty good job with that.
Yeah, the stew is the theme of the table, but then there's lots of other food if you're not into lamb. But most people, even though they say they're not into lamb, they'll eat a bowl of the stew.
Or
so,
3.
Yes, and the idea is there's a lot of other things to complement it on the table. And then we have tubs of various kinds of beverages, anything from bottled water and juices and teas to import beers, different kinds of pop and energy drink beverages, and then we can talk about the Patty's Room, because the Patty's Room, depending on the kind of day we've had and over the past years, and we've had people coming downstairs at our office since the mid-'80s. But we hooked up with the Chamber of Commerce partnering with us in the early '90s, and I think this is probably about maybe the 35th year we've had Chamber involvement. Chamber helps us advertise it. Chamber's been there manning a table and things like that. But the Patty's Room, we serve Irish coffee with or without the good stuff.
The secret ingredient.
Yeah. And anyway, we also, we have two large, they're like 48 cup urns of coffee. And I think one of the years we had, it was about 10 degrees outside.
Oof.
And everybody wanted another cup of coffee and so forth. And I think we went through about probably 20 dozen cups of Irish coffee.
Oh, wow.
Which we made extra. I know that for pretty sure, because we actually made 5 urns of coffee that year, and did a repeat about the middle of the party. So we were mostly in demand for Irish coffee, which it's a sweetened coffee with a beverage of your choice, or it doesn't have to have a beverage in it. It'll have some sugar and some whipped cream on it no matter what. And then we have a table that I call a creamer sampler, and that's got a couple dozen different kinds of bottles of Irish cream, which is a liqueur that we'll be happy to provide you a cup for or a glass for. But most people are familiar with Bailey's, some of the other traditional creams from over there, and we have pretty much a sampling of all of the creams that get imported. And then the main theme table in the room is the sampler table, which I think we have over 6 dozen kinds of Irish coffees. Not coffees, Irish whiskeys. Excuse me. And the Irish whiskeys.
Up the game there a little bit.
The Irish whiskeys are not obligatory. The Irish whiskeys, though, a lot of people will sample one just for the sake of something that they haven't tasted before. Probably there'll be 3 or 4 bottles that people will go to that they just don't believe it exists, but there are bottles that pretty much taste like a strong, smoky Scotch. And that's because in parts of Ireland, they make their beverage in a way that it is filtered through peat. And it comes away with a smoky taste. And 2 of the, I've got one called Latours, and I've got another one that is called Connemara. And I'm sure there's another bottle that I'm not thinking of right now. Those are something that if somebody asks me about it, I'll make sure they get a sampler. We have these little, about thumb size sampler cups, so you don't necessarily have to tarnish what you just tasted with an overlapping taste. And then we have other things on the table as far as that sampler table that are, some of the things are bottled 18 years after they're distilled, and some of them that are on the table probably have been on the table for not 18 years, but they've been on the table because the stuff doesn't spoil. And so we keep it around. We keep adding to the collection. Different people ask about things they tried before. And a number of the different beverages have different tastes. We want you to feel comfortable if you want to have some of that. It's there. It's not going anywhere. And then we have some sweetened Irish whiskeys. One of my favorites is called Whistler's, and then one that we're featuring the last couple of years is called Shanky's Whip. And Shanky's Whip is a Irish whiskey base, but it also has honey, it has molasses, it has caramel, it has some chocolate, and it's pretty much like the creams when you sip it or you taste it. And you might put it in a cup of coffee and have your own version of an Irish coffee just with that particular beverage. But that last year, I think, was the one that people asked to sample the most. It'll be there again this year. And this year we decided about every half hour we'll have people, when they come down, put their name on a tag, and we'll do a drawing, and we'll send a bottle of Shankies home with somebody.
Nice.
So
Awesome.
Anyway,
That stuff was so good. I may have drank a couple last year.
we have to be careful how we do things downstairs. We're careful that we can't have minors in the areas
Yep.
where we have that kind of stuff, and we're also careful that we don't appear to be charging people for anything, and we don't. But it's the kind of thing where you don't want to appear to have a game of chance or something going on about that sort of beverage. But other than that, we've got a crew that's been with us for years. We've had a meeting last week about different people doing different things and making sure that certain things are kept full and so forth. So that's sort of the story, except this thing's actually been going on St. Pat's all the way back to first few years I was in town with my Irish partner, Ed Kelly. We were Kelly and Morrissey, and we used to have people from the First National Bank. There were some lawyers over there. There were also some bankers over there. And they came over, and the people at the Savings and Loan Building that we started in, we all went downstairs to their kitchen, and we did toasts to each other. And then we got into the coffee, with part of the coffee and the beverages being the toast. And that went on for a few years, and then Ed and I, new savings and loan arrangement turned into Central Valley Bank, and we needed to move, so we moved up. We went through 2 or 3 different offices, but we always had the party around St. Pat's. But we were over in the building where Petra's Park is now. That used to be Pomida and then Tribune Printing. And then we had 2 houses up north and west of the courthouse, kitty corner from the communication tower up there. And we were over there from 78 to 85 when we moved uptown. But we continue to have the parties over there. We never had as much space as we have uptown right now. But the only thing about uptown is it's all downstairs. And we've had a few people that weren't sure they wanted to do the stairs. So we made a deal with some of the people that still come to the party that are as old as I am, that will bring the stew up to our main floor workstation area, and we'll make sure you get stew and a beverage if you say you don't really think you can do the stairs.
Awesome.
But for the most part, people that do the stairs, they'll walk right into probably a crowd of between 100 and 150 people. That's bumper-to-bumper people for downstairs. We've had all sorts of people show up over the years. Last year, Mindy surprised me and brought a congresswoman in with her. That was fun.
She may have had an Irish coffee with us.
I tried to get the newspaper to get a photograph of her. He got several photographs of her, and that was kind of fun, too. She talked to a lot of people. But I tried to get him to photograph her in front of a table that has our import beer tubs on it, which is 4 or 5 tubs of different choices, and then it's got pop and bottled water in coolers below it also. But anyway, the table background is 3 of my favorite Democrat presidents. And that's Roosevelt, Truman, and Kennedy. And we usually drink a toast to them sometime during the night. Well, I think she figured out that I was trying to set her up a little bit, so we never did get a picture in front of the three presidents.
It's all in good fun.
But they've been on the wall ever since we moved over to the building and had redone the rooms. And,
Jason, have you ever been to this business after hours?
I have not.
So my favorite part is there's a time, usually about 6:30ish, where it kind of starts to change over, and that's when singing starts, and they do toasts and all kinds of Irish fun.
Yeah, we have 2 or 3 things that have always happened besides people coming in and having something to eat and drink. It's fun just seeing the people and so forth, but it's also seeing them when they're a little bit enthused about the way the party's going. And so we do something with song sheets, and we have some old favorite Irish songs, which a lot of people just know by heart. So we hand out the song sheets. The song sheet on the back side, and we've actually got variations on this sheet, but it also invites you to make a toast, and it's got about 30 toasts on it as far as different things that you might want to become poetic about. It seems like we have different signs on the wall and stuff that encourage people to be Irish for a day. And when they do that, we also encourage them to make a toast. Last year we started something, and it was sort of a tongue twister for a bunch of people. We had about a dozen words and phrases that are Gaelic terms. And everybody knows the term sláinte, that's cheers, but not everybody knows Dé Beat Gat, which is God bless you. And as far as some of these others, I mean, if you want to try reading one of those,
I don't know if I'd
it,
be able to even pronounce those.
Well,
correctly.
that's half the fun of it. Is
You have to have
seeing
some
way-
Irish whiskey first.
But anyway, we did pass the sheets as far as the Gaelic terms also. So like Mindy says, probably after people have had some lamb stew, some things from the snacks and hors d'oeuvre table and trays, and they've been to either the beverage tubs or into the Patty's room, they loosen up a little more. We usually have a group of people that's willing to sing together. I don't remember who it was that led the singing last year, but he had a wonderful tenor voice. And, of course, throughout the party in the background there is Irish music, mostly instrumental. But during the singing sessions, people get pretty deep into what the words on the songs are. And some of them know songs that aren't on the song sheets. That's fine, too. But between that, people taking turns toasting people, sometimes we'll say something kind of as a memorial to somebody that always attended, but they've passed away. I know one of my very old friends that held Mindy's position for a while, Bob Phipps, passed in the last month. Mm-hmm. And anyway, Bob, even though he moved to Florida, we used to sometimes call him up on the phone and have him listen to the singing. But we lost Bob at 83 years old recently, and that is somebody we'll toast this year for sure. Awesome. We always had Ross Walker and his wife Lorraine in attendance. Lorraine got a little bit hobbled, and Ross had reached 95. Ross passed away in the last year at 96, but they were always with us for a while. And Ross is the only one I think that ever fell up the stairs. And we teased him about that, but he always made a point of showing up. He was always supportive of these kinds of business after hours, not just ours. and did a lot for the business community for about 60 years. So we remember Ross, but there's a lot of other people that we try to remember too. And then this whole business after hours process is something. It's a nice way if you're a new chamber member to get the rest of the chamber membership in a position where maybe they can't all show up, but some of them come and they meet you. That may be the only time that year that you see them, but others, they may be a regular person that stops into your business. And then I know some of the others that go back a long ways. I think ours, I was describing us starting over in the old Savings and Loan Building and then carrying on. About mid-'80s when we moved uptown next door to Iowa State Bank, we got into the situation where we had more people coming because we had more space. When we were the other places, we were sort of limited, and it was mostly members of our bar association, people from the courthouse, and I hadn't become city attorney yet, so we didn't have, I think we might have had 2 people from City Hall that showed up regularly, but that changed when we got uptown, and it especially changed after we partnered with the chamber. And we started having many dozens of people showing up instead of a dozen or 2 that were courthouse people and lawyers and people connected with some of the groups we worked with, like the Abstract Company and the banks. But now, I think if you're in the bumper to bumper from about 4:30, 5 o'clock until 6:30 or later, you probably run into somebody from about every craft or trade, and it's always nice for me to meet some people that are relatively new and also relatively young. I think I have ascended to being the oldest attorney in town right now, and I'm still, plugging away. But the idea right now is some of these jobs I've been working on getting a successor for. As far as that working out, I've got some things in process. But as far as some of the other people that come, there may be second or third generation people that not only do they come to this party, but they are holding their own after hours parties. One of them that comes to mind is the Nelson Company. They, back in the same era when we partnered with the Chamber of Commerce, Nelson, back then it was Pete Nelson, and it was a combination of turkey fry feed, some beverages, and a potluck for the workers at Nelson. And that thing has grown and grown over the years, and it's one of those well-attended after hours that you want to make sure you go to if you can. And that's sort of the story with ours too. Ours grew and different kinds of things some years. I was looking back over some of the things we've saved over the years. Marionette Miller Meeks, the congresswoman that was with us last year, actually about 20 years ago, Dave Lobsick came in, but he didn't spend the time that she did. And I was kind of grateful that she really talked to quite a few people downstairs, including some people from the city that the city's had a nice relationship with the federal government as far as some fairly substantial USDA grants for 3 different projects on the sewer. And then we've had water. We went to a deep well water thing, and all of those things have happened in the terms of just a couple of our congressmen. And they've been helpful. Grassley's been helpful and so forth as far as making sure that we're on the list and that we eventually get funded. And that kind of thing as far as having some of those motivations behind you sometimes to be, if you're able to talk to somebody that may not ordinarily show up at your party. That was a nice experience last year to have her around and talk about a few things that she probably wasn't expecting to. But I know that we had different city officers down in the crowd, and I know that our engineer talked with her, and I know that administrator was there for a while, and our mayor was there. So those kinds of personal contacts outside of business makes business after hours all the more effective. So anyway, we're sold on the idea. We hope other people, when they get the chance, they do it. As far as what the future holds, I've got at least a couple more years before I want to step back up front. I've been city attorney since 1990, and I love doing the city work. I've been city attorney for a half a dozen other towns. I've still got a couple of them that I go to meetings outside the county for, and it's nice to have that kind of chance to sit down and work with people at the grassroots level. And I consider that to be our city council experience too. Anybody can go over there. They can talk with the officials and the council. And the nice thing about this, I'm sitting there looking at Jason, and I can go home a half hour after council's done, and I can turn on and watch it again on YouTube.
Yep.
The Fairfield media is right there. And that's, it's one of the nice things. I was kind of in a push and shove with the Ottumwa Courier. A couple of weeks ago, they wanted some information that we couldn't give them, yet the judge in a case that we weren't even parties in had put a gag order on everybody and sealed the record. And I explained that to council. I explained that to our law enforcement department that was involved as witnesses, that we had to be careful not to get in contempt. Ottumwa Courier wasn't very satisfied with that. And I told the Courier, I said, look, you're making it sound like we're not an open book. And we're probably the most open council in South Iowa. We've been doing our agendas on committees and giving them to the media as well as our meetings as long as I've been city attorney. And I don't think the other towns do that. Plus, we've got, as far as things going on with city council, they are always on social media, talking, or social media is talking about what is being shown, courtesy of Fairfield media and the YouTube rebroadcast.
We do try our very best to make sure every council meeting gets live streamed, and if we end up having an issue with the live stream, it's always recorded and posted either immediately there afterwards or the following morning if it didn't get live streamed. And no, there's been several times, you'll get people on social media, up in arms about something, and and I'll come across it and I'll be like, hey, here's a link to the city council meeting where they address that. Type thing.
That's huge to be able to look back, and our meetings are as open as they get. And we didn't hear any more out of the Courier, and right now I think the Courier got all the information it wanted after the judge unsealed the record, made his ruling, and left us out of it. So that's the way it should work. But anyway, it's part of the process, and it's important that Jason and Fairfield Media is trying to remember what sitcom it was, but it was sort of a he's everywhere story, which is a nice thing to have here.
Well, and like Mindy said, between me and Werner Elmker sits on our committee, and he's probably darn near close to one of the most active members I think we've ever had. And of course, you've got Dick DeAngelis doing the Fairfield history films and very active in that. But as far as that direct being there for all the different events, being there for all that kind of stuff. Werner is an awesome person to have as part of our team and really helps out substantially with that. So
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being our guest today, John.
Well,
and
I've
we
enjoyed
encourage
it.
everyone to come on Friday to the business after hours from 4 to 7 or later. And don't forget to get signed up to do your own business after hours. Our April business after hours is canceled, so I need a new April person. And I believe May is also open at this point. So give us a email at chamber@fairfieldiowa.com if you would like to host a business after hours. And you better come have lamb stew with me.
I will do my best to be there. That's a Friday, correct?
Friday.
It's Friday the 14th.
That's the Friday before the
Right
legislative
before the 17th.
session.
Yes,
That's why I'm
that's-
always super good on Saturday morning for that bright and early.
That will be so fun.
Yep. All of that. All of that.
But no, keep in mind, definitely attend the business after hours. Wake up bright and early, come to the legislative session, and enjoy all the fun there with us.
Commiserate
as
with
well.
us.
And we'll just all be in it together. Once again, thank you guys for joining us for Chamber Talks. It's an absolute pleasure to have you guys listen to us, staying informed, engaging in our community, and being a part of the Chamber of Commerce. Thank you guys again. We'll see you next time.